This is a talk on what I understand of the theory of shaming. Its origins, in my understanding, come from the theatrical presentation of Gandhi, and I don't just mean the Attenborough film, but the textbook newspaper editorial history of Gandhi that was celebrated as an inspiration to Martin Luther King. Depicted his resolve against the brutality of the British as ultimately leading them to recognize his humanity and back off from their colonialism in shame. Now, I'm forced to discuss Seattle because I don't like to. I'm 65 years old, and the way that they abominably suppressed my voice is still very scary and frightening to me. Deadly, deadly terrorism came from Seattle towards me after they posed as offering me protection from abuse, which they recognized was going on. They have a blood curdling gyroscope that they spin, accusing anybody who they victimize of neglecting the African poor, the Bohemian afflicted by drugs, the Burmese resistors to the military in Asia, to the Israelis being persecuted by anti Semitism. The list goes on and on. They have hundreds of causes that they play in a casino routine that allows them the license to torture somebody. The game that Seattle plays is not different from the game that Israel plays. You cannot shame the Zionists as they now exist in Israel. They have pushed themselves to a grandstand beyond all shame, throwing rocks at children, shooting them in the loins. Supposedly, that is not the role model of Seattle. Yet that is the gang in Pittsburgh's orientation, members of the IDF who chased me out of that town after torturing and deafening me, whom Seattle double-crossed me to protect, banning me from school for 12 years, saying I would only fail and be a troublemaker, that I was hallucinating. And they pumped me full of psychiatric drugs, so I'm now in a state of self-destruction. They castrated me. The game that Seattle plays is how much can we get away with humiliating somebody? Luring me here from a tent, poisoning me in the mouth after inviting me on a barbecue, keeping me alone in 30, 35 years, threatening to kill innocent people, bystanders, if I so much as dated someone, making up stories about souvenirs they claim I illicitly trafficked from Yoko Ono, who supposedly owns me, about whose interests in my affairs I had absolutely no awareness whatsoever. They're inventologists. They make it a practical sport to terrorize every meal they feed me, to haunt me in cyber stalking syndicates, to laugh at me about my deafness, to parade their guerrilla franchise, and to offer absolutely no recourse whatsoever. They have Clint Eastwood on their side, looting, pilfering, and stuffing my mailbox with his stupid pictures. I sent it to Olympia and said, get this honcho off my case. I don't live to spout his name. He seems to think that every time somebody writes an article in the paper about American politics, they better mention him, and it better be in a favorable light. They trafficked me, beginning as a very small boy, circling me at school. They read race riddles into what was a seedy white Klan trafficking attack on a helpless little boy. The mania for derision and deranged accusations is a disgrace. And they heaped insult and injury onto insult and injury over and over and over and over again for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Never giving me the time of day, much less the benefit of the doubt. And I'm supposed to shame them into a change of ways? How? By offering them the things my souvenirs are worth? They have no concept of common decency, none. Now, they're not going to get up and answer this honorably. They're not going to say, okay, we want equal time to answer. They're not going to say, how long did that take, Mac? Give me that much time. I'll give them triple that much time. Put it up in my blog. They're not going to do it. That's not how they operate. You don't have the right to be told what you're being accused of, much less face your accuser in a court of law when you're dealing with the criminally insane circus they call Seattle. You think I'd like doing this? I don't like doing this. This is pent-up emotion. I go out every day and I ride the light rail. If I talk to myself, I do so privately so I don't feel alone. I help people. I push the chairs into place. The 12 years they banned me from school, I mopped the floors. I worked with people on their math projects, on the newsletters. I was their friend. They don't have any concept of friend. It has no meaning to them. They see you as a utility function, period. End of discussion. You cannot shame them. You cannot avoid them. They bring their curse upon you because they're driven by hatred. I have seen no examples to cite otherwise. Left in an honorable, disenfranchised condition, I would be perfectly okay with my invalid status. Go to a Medicaid facility for assisted nursing and pass my time, my end times on this earth. But no, they don't want to let go of their object of derision. They don't want to stop having fun at the expense of somebody who they've cruelly mutilated from day one. And you say this isn't all Seattle's doing, right? Because they leapfrog back and forth to Pittsburgh. They say, calling all idiots, we're going to listen to one of Queerball's tapes.